investigations? If there are going to be prosecutions, by whom then should that be undertaken?
Well, we are hoping that the international community, the UN Security Council, the countries that are responsible for closing that unfinished independence freedom movement for the English-speaking population, they are responsible for the plebiscite that said you are independent by joining. You cannot be independent by joining French Cameroon or Nigeria. You are independent by being your own country. There is no country in Africa, there's no country in the world that has achieved independence by joining another country. It doesn't work that way. And especially if you are a minority with a different culture, with different social base, with different ideologies of life. You cannot go and sit with people where you are incompatible in every single aspect of life. And that is the situation that the people of Southern Cameroon have lived for 60 plus years. It's become unbearable. Their culture has been depleted. Their economic systems that they put in place at independence have been depleted. And now we are in a phase of a killing war, and that scorched earth policy is really, really affecting the people so bad that the European Union has come up with a resolution, the American Senate has come up with a resolution, and of course our friends in the African Union have been so silent about the matter. You can hear the crickets in the room.
Why do you think that is, especially after, I believe, Human Rights Watch released a report in August just detailing the human rights abuses that it blames security forces for carrying out on Anglophone communities? And if you can also just share with us some of those abuses.
Well, you have torture, and when the military come out, they loot the poor communities, they loot their houses, they burn their houses down. You know, in most of the villages, the silos where people keep their food, their harvest, is up in the roof. So if you burn a house or you burn an entire village, you're actually implementing a starvation war. We saw this in Ireland, we saw this in Yemen, we saw it in Biafra, in Timor-Leste, among the Rohingya in Myanmar, in Kosovo, and during the Holocaust. So what the government is doing is starving the English-speaking people, the people of Southern Cameroon, by burning. More than 500 communities, villages have been burned to the ground. But yesterday it was so bad they've moved their burning into the biggest town in the country. You have children, actually, children going to school in the morning. They are shot by the military. Coming home from school, children are killed by the police. In the schools, you have so many schools where the military have gone into schools and shot children with their teachers in class. So there are three areas basically during the war that you're not allowed to actually go there. These are schools, they are health centers, and places of worship. But the Cameroon military has systematically abused these principles of war. They go into schools, they go into people's homes, they burn homes, but the worst, they go to places of worship, they kill people in places, in churches, they go into health centers. Imagine going into hospitals. You know, it happens over and over and over again, and we're really, really tired. And yet the international community has not acted, especially our friends in Africa. It is really a serious matter.
So what do you say should be next by course of action? You mentioned that this should be a matter that should not only go before the UN Security Council, but that the AU has been silent. Is there a way of forcing some sort of action?
Oh, I think, it happened during apartheid in South Africa. You know, the international community did put sanctions on South Africa. The same thing should happen to Cameroon, a country that is hosting the African Nations Cup within a few weeks. It is not ready. It has not got the roads. It hasn't got, the infrastructure ready, but it is insisting on inviting the entire African community to come and play ball. One of the games that the African people love so much. They should come into Cameroon at a time when people are dying and are suffering. Our mothers are suffering. Our children are dying, being killed by the military. We shouldn't allow that to happen because, you can see definitely that with the military wearing clothes and coming out like Amber boys, in fact, we call them Atanganji boys, coming out and killing community, torturing people, burning, raping, killing, you coming into that country. Basically, the plan is for these same people to commit atrocities during the games and try to label the Amber Boys, our defense forces, as terrorists. That's what they are looking for. They are not ready, and they have all these abuses. I think Africa can show maturity by boycotting the AFCON 22 games. AFCON 22 games, just like the US and the European unions are mature enough to boycott the Olympics in China. They should be doing the same.
All right, thank you so much for